26. Meeting is now called to order at 7 p.m. And if we could all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Borough Manager, can we have a roll call, please? Yes, Madam President. Councilor Borough? Present. Sorry. Testing. Okay, so there's no, you were fine the first time. That, yep, just a, no, damn, that's good, that's good. A little echo, but it's okay. All right, Councilor Felder.
Present.
Councilor Fleming.
Present.
Councilor Patrick. Mayor Booker. Councilor Smith.
Present.
Vice President Hill.
Present.
President Allen.
Present.
Testing.
Solicitor Miller.
Present.
Treasurer Morgan.
Present.
Flag is out.
No, it's
Engineer Lynch. Code Officer Collins.
Present. Isn't it?
Building Code Official Tartaglia. Excused. Chief Aaron.
Present.
And Borough Manager is present. Madam President, you have a quorum.
Thank you.
So we will begin.
Yeah, that's you. You want to take one? We'll just sit in back and clap off.
Can you hear? Yes. No.
No, you're fine.
No, still kind of low, but okay. I will speak up. I can speak up. There it goes. Okay, thank you. All right, so we're going to begin with committee updates. So we will start with library. Mr. Ashton.
Thank you so very much, everybody. Good evening. I want to give us a story the chief just told me. This afternoon, a lady came into the rushed into my office and they said, the lady parked her car in the driveway of the library, and parked out of the library, and the car is missing. And she came in, she's throwing a fit, somebody stole her car. We walk over to the police station, the police said, well, we didn't tow it. She finds the car blocked over. Nobody told her, she didn't know where she parked.
Aww. I'm not laughing with it. Be me one day. That will be me one day.
He said, two told. So good evening, everybody. It's Women's History Month. And we celebrate Women's History right here in Delaware County with all the council people we have and Shack and all that good stuff. So we just want to take a minute and think about all the women that got us here to where we are. The most important woman in our history is my mother. And so, Mother's Day coming up, we want to celebrate Women's History Month. On that note, because we're celebrating Women's History Month, we have two programs that we're really excited about in the library. This weekend, on Saturday, from 6 to 8, we're holding a poetry slam with women, excellence in poetry. And that should be a lot of fun. And we're opening the library up from 6 to 8 just so the public can know that the library is accessible whenever you really need it. And it's just not just a 9 to 4 or 9 to 6 library. We're 9 till you need it library. And then next Saturday, we're doing a Women's History program with Miss Sandra Wilkes. Many of you know her. She's always at our events. And she's hosting a Women's History program for us with speakers and vendors and all that good stuff. We're also excited to announce that we have found a new vendor for our summer program food. Remember that box food? No more. They gave us so much food over the week, parfait, and they made sure there was no ham in it, and salads, and And we never could get strawberry milk for the kids. They brought all this food over, and they said, give it to the kids and give us a feedback on it. And I didn't know how to give it to the children, so but we didn't have enough for everybody. So I simply said, I need some volunteers. And some people were like, I ain't volunteering. And some people said they're volunteer. Those who volunteered came and got the food. And those who didn't volunteer were shocked that there was food. Anyway, they loved the food. It was a big difference from the usual food that we have. I met the young man last week at the Delaware County Legislative Breakfast, which started at 7 o'clock in the morning, and some of you were invited to do that. Get up 7 o'clock in the morning, and there was no breakfast.
What?
They had some bake, they had some cookies and stuff like that. So you made a good move. And so we met him there, and that was interesting. Also, we got a notice today that our money was sent out. And it should be here sometime next week. I'll be standing in front of the office all day long, waiting for the mailman to come. And finally, I'm asking the borough, I don't know what channels to go through, so I'm just asking here. The library is sponsoring a Little League baseball team this year. Well, I'm going to put up the money for the library to sponsor a Little League baseball team, but we're trying to find a field that we can use for the Little League team, and it should start sometime in June, I think June 17th. We need it for about 4 weeks, for about 4 teams, and it's T-ball, right, Councilor Miller? We were talking with the young man the other week about it was T-ball he was talking about, right?
I think all the way, all youth baseball, the little league age, up to throwing, all that to do.
Okay, so we're looking for a field in Sharon Hill to host some of our games there. They're gonna be in Yaden, they're gonna be in different places around the county, in Delaware, in this area. So help me out, tell me what I need to do to secure some time for one of the fields for our people. So it'll be Wednesday afternoons, and from 4 to 6. There ends my report.
Mr. Ashby, Wednesday, from 4 to 6, and when is it planning to start? And Councilor Hill can help with this. Oh, in June. Okay, I just wanted to make sure it wouldn't be any of the school sports going on, but they should finish in June. Okay. Okay. Are there any questions for Mr. Ashby?
Yeah, so for the, so when you say you're gonna be the library's gonna sponsor, what are y'all getting, like, what, shirts, equipment, what?
So 2 years ago, I sponsored a team. I think I gave like $500, $600. I just gave them a check and then they purchased what they needed for the team. And so that's what I'll be doing this year. I'll give them a list of what they need, and then we'll sponsor. If you want to help sponsor, you can help sponsor it. You don't have to be the library program. You can be Sharon Hill's Little League. I think it's so inclusive.
And what's the age?
T-ball to about 13.
Okay.
Okay, and I have more concrete information about it during the week, and I'll email everybody, exactly what they're asking for. And the question was, would it be possible? And so I guess it would be possible, but we need more information about what time, when, and how many. Am I correct?
Yeah, just make sure you update me on all of that. And you also, you do know that there's a sports, I forgot, well, they're nearby. I think they're in the business plaza.
1300 Elmwood.
What's the name?
1300 block at Elmwood.
Yeah, and they donate, like, baseball gloves or whatever equipment that we would need. But Mike knows about that, but we'll talk about that. You have.
I have the contact info.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so that will be a major help.
So good, thank you. Bible said, we have not caused what?
Ask,
I'm asking.
Mr. Ashby, before you go, Council, I do want to share this letter with you all. It did arrive just after our celebration for Mr. Ashby's achievement as the president of the Pennsylvania Library Association. So this is from the United States Congress. And this letter reads, Dear Richard Ashby Jr., congratulations on your appointment As president of the Pennsylvania Library Association, it is a great honor to be chosen for a leadership position within this statewide organization, and the distinction is even more notable in your case as the first African-American president in the Pennsylvania Library Association's 125-year history. When you first began working at a library back in 1990 as a security guard, I imagine you weren't envisioning a future where you were leading a professional association of library organizations and individuals employed in Pennsylvania libraries. Your career took many turns over the years, eventually leading you to our beloved Delaware County libraries, first in Yeadon and now in Sharon Hill. Since 2021, you've been a fixture of Sharon Hill Public Library, and your focus on expanding the resources available to the borough's residents has not gone unnoticed. I was so thrilled to secure $1.2 million in the recent federal budget to support the borough's plans to construct a new library and recreation center that will improve both the physical space and vital services you're able to offer patrons. I am confident you will bring your passion for engaging underserved communities and creating more inclusive libraries for the residents of our Commonwealth to your new role as Pennsylvania Library Association President. Your proven track record in these areas is sure to serve the organization well as you seek to build its membership and bring more people into the profession of librarianship. I join all those celebrating you today as you mark this important milestone in your career. Thank you for your service to the residents of Delaware County, and congratulations again, Richard. Sincerely, Marion Stanley. There you go, this is yours. She is a fan of yours. Yes.
It's a big deal.
It's theme music. That was theme music.
It was amazing.
That was actually theme music.
Alrighty, so I'm going to move on with my reporting. Counselors, I have a few things to share. I'll go to Chester Pike Corridor Improvement Partners next. So, counselors, about a month ago, I shared about Green Light Go. The information is in your packet. This is a grant application. Well, Green Light Go is a county program, and there's a grant that Chester Pike Partners is going to apply for so that amongst our 5 municipalities, we can implement some traffic calming measures and some pedestrian safety measures. And so that's what's in the packet before you. The ask on the agenda this evening is because we are applying for that grant, and should we be awarded the grant, there is a match component to it, and so all of the 5 municipalities have to agree to carry our portion of the match. So the grant, I believe the total is $139,000. The match portion is $30,000 plus dollars, and so split amongst the 5 municipalities, that equals $6,224, which, should we be awarded the grant, we would need to pay up our portion of the match in 2027. And so there is a motion on the agenda for us to approve that should we get awarded the grant monies, Sharon Hill would continue to partner with Chester Pike Partners and cover our portion of the match funds that will be required. Any questions for me on that? Okay. All right, I'm going to keep going down my list because I have quite a few things. And so this morning I attended the Delaware County Workforce Development Board. I am a member on that board. And I will post on our website some upcoming job fairs that the Career Link is going to be hosting. There are 2 of them, and they will be big events and opportunities for people to learn skills around resume writing and interviewing. And then they had, I don't want to say the wrong number, but there were a lot of potential employees that were also going to be a part of that fair. So I will have that posted by tomorrow on the website. And if you're so inclined to want to look for it tonight, just go to Delaware County Career Link and you'll find the details there. The other thing, and Madam Borough Manager, I wanted to update you. I will have a full update for you, but we have a potential opportunity to partner with the DCIU. They did reach out, a person from our community that works for DCIU asked if we have opportunities in the borough for young people to work, and they will pay them. So when I get some more details, Council, I'll share with you, and Madam Borough Manager, I'll share that as well. But that might be a good way for us to have young people experience municipal management and some intergovernmental work. The other thing that I have is an introduction, just briefly, to the land bank, the Delaware County Land Bank. I didn't put it in the packet. So the Delaware County Land Bank, some of you may be familiar, is a program that is really intended to help with eliminating or reducing blight in certain areas. And what they'll do is when properties go up for judicial sale, they will acquire the property and hold it for a municipality, and so that the borough then has more of an opportunity and a say in what happens to that property, and it's not bought by developers or turned into something that, wouldn't benefit the community. And they help with rehabbing properties and things like that. So there are 2 that have been flagged that are on the upcoming judicial sale list in Sharon Hill, and I'd like for us to consider it. It does require us adopting the land bank resolution and being able to say we'd like interest in any particular properties. Does require an agreement for us to adopt the resolution, as well as the Southeast Delco School District. So I've connected the Southeast Delco School District with the executive director and solicitor for it's part of the County Redevelopment Authority. I've connected them with those 2 people, and the executive director will come to our caucus next month to tell us more about the program, so that if we are so inclined to join, we can adopt that at our April legislative meeting. So more to come on that, but it's a good opportunity, again, for us to have control over some of the properties in the borough that are maybe blighted already or at risk, and then up for judicial sale. All righty. So then the next thing I have a few things this evening. I am going to schedule our next neighborhood cleanup day. The day will be April 25th. It's a Saturday. Earth Day is on Wednesday the 22nd, so it'll kind of be like an Earth Day theme, but a neighborhood cleanup day. I did not choose a rain day. I will do that because last year both of the days that we chose were rained out. But please mark your calendars. We will do this in partnership with Councilor Patrick, who is going to have Home Depot do some things with us. So more to come, but please mark your calendars for the neighborhood cleanup day for Saturday, April 25th. And then, councilors, also in your packet, I believe this may have been emailed to everyone, but the Fontability Foundation is having their first annual gala. And so if anyone wants to attend, or if you're so inclined, there is information on being a partner or a sponsor, or placing an ad in the booklet. I don't want to make an ask of council, of the borough rather, but if as individual contributors, anybody wants to attend, the information is in your packets. And councilors, my last ask is that if you can render some dates that would work for you for a town hall. We have a couple of items, and I think it's a good time for us to invite the public in for some good discourse on. So if you can look at your calendar and let me know what dates work for you. I'd like to do something in April if we have an open April date on a Saturday, but whatever works for everybody would be the day we go with. And that goes for the chief as well, and Ms. Collins as well. And that's everything that I have. Oh, no, it's not. Sorry. How could I forget this shiny thing in front of me? So it is Women's History Month, and every year for Women's History Month, I choose another wonderful woman to add to the wall of wonderful women in the back of the room. And I thought about the women that are up there, and I have someone that represents the arts and music. I have legislators there, mostly legislators, and I also have a person that represents STEM, Dr. Mae Jameson, who is an astronaut. And I don't have any lady athletes on the wall. And so I'm fangirling real bad over Asia Wilson these days. So this year's newest face on the wall of wonderful women is Asia Wilson. Asia Wilson is an American professional basketball player currently with the Las Vegas Aces in the Women's National Basketball Association, WNBA. Many regard Wilson as the top basketball player of her generation, and she is widely recognized as one of the greatest athletes in WNBA history. Wilson is the only player in the WNBA to win the league MVP award 4 times and has guided the Aces to 3 championships over a span of 4 years. Asia has also earned 2 Olympic gold medals in 2020 in Tokyo and 2024 in Paris as a member of Team USA. So for anybody who has not ever met Miss Asia Wilson, this is her. She's fantastical. If y'all not watching women's basketball, get on it. It's a good time. So we will add Miss Asia Wilson to the wall of wonderful women. And that is all that I have. Any questions for me?
Madam President, I'm sorry, I may have missed it. Can you explain again I think the second item about the land bank?
Yeah.
Because I had a chance to review and have some questions.
Okay. So I can give you the high level on it, but the deeper dive might be better served getting you the information directly from Laura Goodrich-Carnes, who's the ED, who's going to come and talk to us at the caucus meeting. But in short, actually, thank you to my borough manager. We have a quick brief on it. I'll read this out. Land Bank provides municipalities with a tool for taking control of the future redevelopment of tax delinquent properties rather than allowing them to be acquired at judicial sale by speculators who often just sit on the properties for years. Joining the Land Bank does not commit the municipality or school district to acquire such properties, but it does give the municipality the option of doing so. Once a property is acquired by the land bank, it could be potentially sold directly to the borough for nominal consideration, cost of filing fees, etc., or it could be offered to a trusted developer with a track record of successfully redeveloping blighted properties. The land bank does not have the obligation to sell to the highest bidder and can therefore avoid transferring properties to unknown speculators and or inexperienced buyers. If the borough were to direct the land bank to acquire a property listed for judicial sale by the Tax Claim Bureau, the borough would have the following obligations/impacts. The borough would be responsible for cutting grass, removing snow and ice, and possibly other baseline property maintenance duties. The property will be exempt from the borough's real estate taxes while it remains in the possession of the land bank. If the property is returned to a use that generates real estate taxes, the borough would split the real estate tax receipts 50-50 with the land bank for the period of 5 years. At the expiration of such 5-year period, 100% of such borough real estate taxes would revert back to the borough. So I don't know if that answers some of the questions you have, but Laura is going to join us and she can fully explain. And if you'd like, we can forward questions to her in advance.
Right, I think I had a chance to review it, and I guess one of my questions is, do we have a list and a number of how many blighted properties, and whether this is necessary for our borough? So the data would help us to determine whether we need to be a part of that or not. The second question, given the long-term financial and operations implications that you just stated, particularly around the tax forgiveness if they acquired a project, the revenue sharing, and the maintenance responsibilities, I think it would be helpful for us to really have a detailed discussion even after the presentation, because I think they have long-term financial impact for us. If we forgive all of those taxes and then have to share 50-50 once they acquire it for 5 years. So I had a chance to look at it and wanted to raise those issues up front.
Yeah, thank you for that. The land bank, do you want to? I can, sure.
The beautiful thing about this opportunity is that it doesn't mean that we have to give all of our blighted properties or all of our properties that are up for sale. We can be selective. So annually, the borough does work with a third party to essentially allow them to acquire them and go after them, and we receive a lump sum payment in lieu of holding them and being responsible for them. So the land bank is really more of an asset to us than a liability, because we can selectively choose the properties that we would like to be a part of the land bank. In this case, we are looking at 2 properties because they are of significant value to the borough aesthetic-wise and location. So this will give us a lot more autonomy around what properties we want to hold on to, because we see the potential value in them, whether it be that we want to do something with them or we want to work with the land bank to get a vetted contractor to work and rehab that property, as opposed to, as Madam President said, just someone getting it from the judicial cell and doing whatever they want. So it really is it's a great opportunity for us. And like I said, we do have full autonomy around what properties we choose to direct the land bank to acquire on our behalf, if you will, as opposed to someone else getting them. But I would say we can definitely dive more into this once Laura comes for the presentation next week. And, as a team, we'll make the decision as to what's best for the borough and how we utilize assets and resources available to us to help us strengthen the aesthetics of the community.
I'm just getting used to reading these kind of documents, but I do think the clause that talks about if they do acquire it and we allow them, we're still responsible for the maintenance and upkeep, and we cannot use our code enforcer to collect anything, so we would have that continued operational expense.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is just thinking about, the financial implications, because I think I read this, Tanya, but I'm not sure that they can also decide to give it to a nonprofit or another kind of agency where we won't have no tax benefits.
So once it gets to sale point, if they decide to resell it, there is a process, but it'll be favorable to the borough either way, whether it be that it's increasing property value for the homes around it, whether it be that it's a revenue generating business or what have you. There's multiple avenues for us to be able to recoup. But to your point, during the time period in which it is in the bank, and this is why selectivity is most important. We don't have to put all of them, we can choose one. So I think that joining is a great asset, and we just need to be selective on which properties we decide to put in there so that we don't take on more of a responsibility and we're not lessening our tax revenue during the time period in which it's acquired by the land bank.
But that 5 years will have some financial implications if it's 50-50.
We weren't gonna get any money anyway.
Yeah, you're not gonna get anything because it would be, so your other alternative is just to sell it off on your books with the rest of the properties that are blighted, and it will be a part of that. So it's, do you wanna sell it and get quick money and still be waiting to get tax revenue on it? Or do you wanna put it towards better use? I think, were you gonna say something, Kyle, or?
Just from a county sales perspective, it's helpful to remember that once a property has reached the judicial sale stage, it's already been offered for sale to developers and the general public with all of its liens and mortgages, et cetera, attached to it. The judicial sale is then a point at which it's free and clear and all those liens are forgiven. Many times those properties are purchased for next to nothing, just whatever that administrative cost is, and many times they will continue to sit and not generate revenue. And while I don't have a lot of experience with the land bank, it essentially serves as a waiting room for the redevelopment authority to determine which properties to invest their resources into. So if when the redevelopment authority does invest in a property, rehab, renovate, and then as President Allen suggested, they have some oversight as to who becomes the eventual or ultimate owner of that property. The idea is that if they invest, I don't know, let's say they invest $100,000 into the property, the new assessed value of that property would likely double the taxable amount. So even at 50%, you're no worse off than you were to begin with. And then after the 5 years, you're in a much better position with a nice new shiny home that they can essentially place with a family or so somebody who's maybe new to the area, or someone who's been here forever and just hasn't been able to make it happen.
Thank you.
Yep, these are good questions, and just so for new counselors, to what Joyce said, once the property is in arrears and we sell the debt, we don't get any money, and we wound up, these properties, one in particular is
eyesore in the community, and we wind up having to abate, and then, we're either paying out the money to abate it. In this case, we would have the maintenance if it wouldn't get out of control, because we would be responsible for it. And it does not cost us anything to join the land bank at all. So we could consider joining the land bank, and then, to Madam Borough Manager's point, pass on any property that we don't want to actually get involved in. One other interesting thing I'll share is what I learned about the process of judicial sale is that investors or developers, they pay $1,000 to get in the room, and many of them, they don't mind that. They'll put the $1,000 up, they'll low bid on a property, the quick claim deed like Kyle was describing, then all of the arrears taxes are gone. So we were never gonna see that money anyway, and then they just let it sit, and then it's blighted, and we have to abate and try to get that taken care of. So we will look at when Laura comes, and we'll look at the properties, and I'll share with you all the two that are up for judicial sale. But again, it doesn't cost us anything to join the land bank, and it's up to our discretion if we do want to get involved in any particular properties. Thank you for those questions. Any other questions from me? All righty. Okay, we're gonna move right along. Vice President Hill.
Hello, everybody. How y'all doing?
Good, thank you.
So yeah, we have our annual Easter celebration coming up. It's going to be the date actually moved. It's going to be April 4th at the Fantability Memorial Park. It's going to be from 12 to 2. We're going to have our fire engine join us if they have a full staff, and that would happen. They will, ride around in the community with Easter Bunny, somewhere around, I think, like 9:30 to 11:30. But I keep y'all posted on that because of the date being moved. We're going to be we're going to be giving away Easter baskets in the park. It's going to be music and face painting and stuff like that. Just just having a good time in the park. And that's all I have.
VP, did you happen to reach out to Mrs. Latarsha about volunteers from the school to help that day? She did mention it at the last meeting. Oh, there she goes right there. Just talked you up, madam. Yeah, you, about the volunteers. So anyway, she did say that at the last meeting, so we can maybe engage any young people that could help.
Yeah.
Any questions for Vice President Hill? All right, we'll move right along. Councilor Bradford, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Okay, I just want to remind everyone that we have 2 weeks left to line dancing, and the dances that we have learned are online, so you can check them out and go to YouTube and either learn how to do them or refresh yourself. And in that way, we can see you next Wednesday. And then the final Wednesday that we have line dancing is when we go through all of the dances. So that's going to be straight through from the very first one we learned to the very last, nonstop. Okay, so wear your comfortable shoes. Also, there's a flyer, I believe, on the back of the table there that has all of the information on for it. Okay, make sure you grab one of these, okay? This coming Saturday, we have the jewelry making tape, and that will be from 1 to 3 here at Borough Hall, 250 Sharon Avenue, 2nd floor. Please register, and I need you to register at SHACC, SHACC, at SharonHillBorough.com. And then finally, in honor of America 250, I am resurrecting the Historical Society Commission. And if you are interested in helping with that, please email me at dbravo@SharonHillBorough.com. I appreciate all your help and assistance with this. Thank you, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilor Bradford. Any questions for Councilor Bradford? Thank you for your work in advance on the Historical Society. Looking forward to
learning about it and how we can assist.
I'd just like to say thank you for taking the initiative to do that. That's amazing. Giving the historical context of Sharon Hill into the hands of the community is a wonderful feat. Thank you.
Okay. Councilor Felder. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. I have the Borough of Sharon Hill Code Report for February 2026. Category inspections. Rental inspection, there were 17. Revenue collected, $2,800. Rental re-inspections, 7. Revenue collected, $350. Resale inspections, there were 4. Revenue collected, $600. And transfer re-inspections, there were 3. No revenue collected. For the inspection category, total revenue collected, $3,750. Permits. Permits applications reviewed, there were 28. Permits issued, there were 20. Revenue collected, $7,256. Permits pending, there were 8. Permit fees double, 0. Permits tentatively approved, 1. Permits denied, 0. Stop work orders, there were 2. Total revenue collected for permits, $7,256 for all both categories, inspections and permits. For the month, they were $11,006. That concludes that portion of the report. As we embark upon the spring season, a lot of improvements is going on in the homes. And we have our Commonwealth Code Enforcement Agency. Main CBO is Mr. Anthony Tattaglione. He is offering his service. Oh, it's off? Oh, okay. Sorry. He is offering his service to the residents of Sharon Hill. He would like to offer his assistance in planning and the planning process for residents who are considering home improvements. He's available to meet with you and your contractors. If you place a call to his office, you can ask for his assistant, which is Christy. The number is 610-717-6367 to make arrangements for a time to meet. States that he cannot stress enough that residents, particularly our senior citizens, should call the municipality building to speak with a representative of the license and inspections to help you approach, or if you are approached by a contractor for work on your home. So this is to protect you and your investment. Again, the number is 610-717-6367. And that's Commonwealth Code Enforcement. That concludes my report for code. Now I shall do the Sharon Hill Fire Company's report. For February 2026, upcoming events, there are none. Some notes. Smoke and carbon monoxide detectors are available for residents of Sharon Hill, free of charge. Smoke detectors, 5 smoke detectors and 3 carbon monoxide detectors were handed out. Please keep fire hydrants on your property free of obstructions, including vegetation and snow. Needs, there were none. Safety measures or messages. Check your batteries and your smoke and CO detectors. Close your bedroom doors at night. This will prevent smoke and fire from entering your room, giving you more time to escape. And that is respectfully submitted by Fire Chief Joe Bourgeois. The monthly report on incidents and assistance. Total time in service is 33 hours, 35 minutes. Average personnel responding, there were 3. Incidents in Sharon Hill Borough. Automatic fire alarm, there were 13. Gas leaks, there were 5. Water in basements, 2. Vehicle accidents, 1. Building fires, 3. Power line damage, 1. A child stuck in a car, a child stuck in a swing, 1. Total incidents in Sharon Hill, 26. Assistance given and received. Darby Borough. We assisted Darby Borough 4 times. They assisted us once. For Fall Park, we assisted them 8 times. They assisted us 16. Of the Darby Township, we assisted them once. They assisted us 0. Home Fire Company, we assisted them no times. They assisted us once. Lansdowne Borough, we assisted them 5 times. They assisted us 0. Glen Borough, we assisted them 12 times. They assisted us 14. Darby Township, we assisted them 10 times. They assisted us once. Collindale Borough, we assisted them once. They assisted us twice. Yates Borough, we assisted them 4 times. They assisted us 0. Total incidents assisting others, 45. This is my report, respectfully submitted. Fire Chief Joe Bourgeois.
Thank you, Councilman Felder. Are there any questions for Councilman Felder? All righty, thank you. Okay, Councilor Patrick, I thought he would have been here by now. He did attend the school district meeting this evening, and I thought he would be here. So if he does arrive before the end of the meeting, we'll circle back to his reporting. We can, okay then. Hello. I mean, I'm on a roll tonight, right? I'm keeping too. Jesus. He ain't coming tonight now, okay. I thought I called on him, he might be. Councilor Patrick, do you need a moment? We can come back to you if you like. All right.
I will comment though. I just left the Southeast Delco meeting. School board's working hard. I was very impressed with all the presentations. Technically, I'm the liaison, but I see a big learning curve coming. So I'm gonna just work hard to get up to speed. But being here, I look forward to. Give me a few minutes now, get myself back together.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And Councilor Patrick, the ask of you to be the liaison wasn't to make you the 10th school board member. It was just so you can share with us, so you don't have to totally catch up to them. But I know it's in your nature to know them fully and understand this.
I was oblivious to the process, and being I had a chance to sit in on the meeting, I was able to connect the dots.
Excellent.
And without that opportunity of you guys, I wouldn't have had it clear. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll come back to you then for a full report. Mayor Booker, good evening.
Greetings, everyone. Yesterday, I did attend the Darby Creek Joint Authority meeting. All things as far as Sharon Hill standing are up to date and in good standing. I'd like to thank everyone who was available to come out on Saturday for the Peace Walk. It may have been short notice to some people, but I'm thankful for everyone who was able to make it, able to be present. It was a beautiful thing for people to be able to come out and just be in a place of peace, a loving place where people are invited to know that we all stand united in the fact that we want the best for our nation. And everyone there was able to share that peacefully, amicably, and with love in their heart to know that we have a fight in our hands as a nation to come together and find ways to work hard to become in one state of mind. And it's an everyday process for everybody. So I just thank those who can be there. And as we have more moments like this where we come together in hopes, we'll share those out as they come. So thank you, everyone. Also, on Saturday, we have the Chat and Chew for veterans. That is going to be at First African Baptist Church. I believe there's flyers in the back. That is for veterans who are seeking care, understanding, or information about veterans care. So any veterans that are available, that will be Saturday, the 22nd at 21st. I'm sorry, Saturday 21st at 10 a.m. Okay. Now for the Sharon Hill Police Department stats for 2026. For the month of February, assaults 1, burglary 0, warrant services 3, domestic disputes 40, theft 7, weapon offenses 1, narcotics 2, alarms 53, medical assist 61, assist other police 22, building checks 137, traffic, vehicle stops 15, traffic citations 13, accidents 17, abandoned vehicles 2, parking tickets 32, criminal arrests 4. The Sharon Hill Police Department responded to 603 calls for service for the month of February. It may have been, we brought this up a while ago. All of the food trucks that have been identified are all in compliance. So if there's any notice from anyone about any of the trucks, please seek the police department and we will go out and make sure that there is no out of compliance items in such nature. Is there any other questions?
Yes, thank you. Trucks with a plural?
For now, I only know of one that is in compliance. Anything else that we find that is out of compliance, please feel free to reach out to the police department, everyone, to make sure that everyone is in compliance and up to standing with everything like that. All permits and otherwise have been filed. So as long as the permits are filed and they're in legal operational standings within the facility, within the location, on private property, of course. That is
Right, so that is, thank you for that. That part we're clear on. We only have one that has been permitted, because they got their permits through the county. That's not the one that was in question.
There is another one? I was wondering.
Thank you, Madam President. So I was on Chester Pike and I discovered a vendor, working, selling food in the open. So I went over and I addressed him, and I will say that it's very intimidating. But I said, hey, do you guys have the right paperwork to sell food in the borough? And when I said that, they said they didn't speak English. So I said, okay, I need to speak to your boss. So they put me on the phone with the boss, and I said, hey, do you got a permit from the borough or any other citations? And he gave me a hard time, basically. And the three gentlemen, they were looking at me kind of hard because they take cash. You know what I mean? So, when you approach a situation like that, you got to be very, very careful, especially nowadays. So all that I'm saying is that when I left there, I was driving back home and I saw one of our officers sitting in the CVS parking lot, and I approached him and I said, hey, I gave him the update of the gentleman, the guy selling food down the street, and he said he saw it. I was like, you saw it? He said, I didn't say anything because I didn't know if if y'all are okay with it, so forth and so on. And I was like, well, no, I mean, So he said, okay, I'll go down there and check them out. My thing is that, listen, I love this borough just like everybody else in this room. And I wouldn't want anybody going up to any vendors in the open, especially when they're taking cash, to say, hey, do you have a right to be here, whatever, because I don't want nothing to happen. Long story short, I'm just saying, if our police officers, when they see something, just approach, because they have all of the authority to do this. And I was very alarmed, disturbed by our officers seeing it, but didn't say anything. So if we can just, amp up the, I guess, authority on that, that would be great.
I'd like to thank you for making sure to do that. I mean, standing out there. I do want you to be safer. Please alert them first before you go making contact for that safety's sake. I believe this was a lack of understanding at that point in time.
Yeah.
But we're working on making sure the officers know to make sure they're approaching those moments like that. And that's why I want to take it back as a moment of growth and development amongst the police force, so that we can make sure that they're stepping in the right space. When there's certain vendors and things like that, they may not always want to immediately feel like they're oppressing people in such a sense. But as far as making sure compliance is held, that is what they have to do. So we're working on making sure they're informed.
Yeah.
So I thank you for stepping out in that space.
You are, and my other thing, and I spoke to another resident who loves this borough too, and they approached him too and said something, and it's like, oh, you know what? That's an alarm. And when I talked to Madam President, she was a little upset at me. She's like, "What are you doing? Like, don't do that." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? I'm gonna say something, and I sent the email. Chief, y'all got the email. So that's all I want to say, about that. And I think a resolution to that too, if whoever has a permit directly from the office, maybe our officers could have something in their police patrol card saying like, okay, they are aware of these people, but then if they see somebody that's not, basically they know. You know what I mean? So I think that's a resolution.
I do have a question, especially since we have the Jazz and Art in the Park, and we do have food vendors.
Yeah.
Is there a way that we can pre-qualify them, or so that you're aware? Because we do make sure that they have their licenses and, their health department, inspections.
Typically, they're aligned to an event, so that kind of puts them in that situation. Plus, you guys always pre-screen them. Just like Councilman Hill said, if we had a ledger to know to give to the police officers so they're pre-informed of anything along the lines, that would be helpful. I'm all about trying to modify whatever strategies we may have had in the past to better facilitate everything in the most way possible. So, yeah, if we keep a list and everything's kind of standardized, most of the time when you have your park events, there's always, these are your vendors. But if there's a vendor that's not supposed to be there and you guys go to flag it, it would be nice to go, hey, these are all the vendors. Here's the list. We have an extra here, someone who just showed up. We want to make sure you don't have any incident like that as well. Okay. So it would be nice to have a list.
I do have a question as well. Councilor Felder, and then someone else have a question? Okay, so Councilor.
I just wanted to know where your veteran service is going to be held. You gave the time and the date, but I think the folks that's not here to get a flyer may have some vets listening.
I'd like to personally apologize. I actually forgot the address, but I'm actually looking it up at this moment to make sure I have it. I just know it's First African Baptist Church. It's near Calvin Hook and Clifton? Calvin Hook and Clifton.
901.
Yeah. 901 Clifton Avenue.
Yes.
That takes care of that. Thank you, audience.
Thank you. Yes, Mayor Brooke, I appreciate your clarifying and ask for just to, I guess, dispel any misunderstandings, but I wanted to just more specifically speak about the incident that VP Hill addressed, because it was, regardless of us not having provided permitted information to the officers. It was a blatant violation of what's allowable. The vendor was set up on the street. That's number one. Like, we don't allow people to block the sidewalk. That's public walkway. And so what should our expectation be as citizens? Of course, we can call 911, but it is a bit alarming to know that officers would see such a violation and then not respond to it. And we do, I know I share the sentiment with a couple of other counselors, so we just want to really be careful of the slippery slope. If everyone thinks they can pitch a tent and plant their flag in Sharon Hill, then it's a free fall, which will be way harder to rein in than making sure we're all on the same page on when we see things that are violations, that they are responded to by the right authority.
Yes, thank you. The greater goal is to make sure we don't devolve into basically an environment of a free-for-all. We have a standard of greatness in Sharon Hill, and we're going to do everything we can to maintain that. I want to make sure the officers are more aware that, hey, they have to be slightly more vigilant in areas and things like this. I still want to encourage the community to step out and say something, because some things do happen out the side. But when we see something on Chester Pike, I want to make sure the guys are more aware that, hey, keep their eyes peeled for these things. Just like Councilman Hill, when he stepped out and talked to the guys about the trucks last year. I appreciate him doing that, but at the same time, I want to make sure the officers are the ones doing that. I don't want any safety issues to happen with any on the council or anyone in the community, because these situations get hostile. So I always want to make sure that we come with a plan of action so that we can prevent ourselves from having any hostile situations. The police are supposed to handle that. And as much as I want them to have the most peaceful time when they're monitoring and maintaining the community, hostility does happen, especially when people who don't want to abide by the law. So once again, I just want to thank Councilman Hill. And I want to make sure that events and things like that don't become anything new, that Sharon Hill maintains the respect and dignity with the individuals in the community. So thank you.
What I will say on a lighter note, the alarm went off yesterday, and the chief and Officer Addis was overhead like that. I was coming in, I was like, the alarm went off. He was like, so that's just, I'm glad that y'all were around, but that's the type of media action that I think we're expressing as well.
Yeah, so. No, thank you. Yeah, we're growing and we're getting stronger. And when the wild things happen, the peacefulness and knowing that the nature of the community, our community is relatively quiet and peaceful. So if anything stands up, we know our guys are going out there quick as lightning to get there. I want to keep encouraging them to be as vigilant as they are and be more vigilant so that we can maintain such a peaceful society as we have. So,
in that light, do we need to, as the council, to put some protection perimeters around us as a borough and as a body? Go back and look at that code and update it, upgrade it, and make it pertinent to today's time. Because we're not having people with carts and selling pretzels on the street, or the man walking down the street with a wagon or a hot dog stand. You got mobile units that come through, and even they need to be licensed.
Councilor Felder, Solicitor Miller actually has that very item on his agenda for us to discuss updating the exact ordinance and coming up to the time so that we are guarded from what you just said. So he's going to work on that for us. I'm sorry, we didn't get back to you.
No, we good. Everything's covered.
Okay.
I was looking forward to our counselor addressing that situation, but he's going to solve for it.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mayor Booker? All right, thank you, Mayor Booker.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. And not to belabor the point on the mobile food establishments, but upon conducting some research, it seems that the last update to the Code of Ordinances was for restaurants and food establishments was in 1972. Amazingly, there are some references to roadside stands, et cetera, but I don't think that was crafted with the current ubiquitous nature of food trucks in mind. That being said, there are also multiple references within the existing ordinance to the Borough Board of Health, which to my understanding no longer exists. And given that the county has regulated this in such an effective way, it's my general recommendation to defer to them, as Chief Sharon and Councilor Hill both suggested. So I intend to craft, I need to determine whether it can fall under general legislation or whether it needs to be something with regard to zoning, to carefully define where these establishments can set up. Do they have the property owner's permission, right? Many times they're in a parking lot that's owned by somebody and they may not be allowed to be there. Parameters of the permitting process, whether it's a one-day event for a Shack Jazz in the Park event, maybe the Borough Council would elect to offer a one-day vendor's permit if you have your licensing and everything's and all your paperwork in order. Maybe daily, monthly, seasonally, or annually. So those are all considerations to take into account. Again, sometimes legally, if a specific use is not delineated and set forth in one specific area or another, it is presumed to be allowable everywhere. So I think that's something we want to certainly whittle down and better define. And again, I agree with council sentiment, not speaking for anyone, but I don't think the idea is to discourage folks from operating businesses or setting up vendor stands to make these events so nice. What's that?
I would say yes, it is the intention to discourage, except for Shack events.
Well, I think if we set up a system in which folks are permitted to do it, it's you'd be much worse off trying to prohibit it altogether than finding a clean and consistent system to provide to make sure that these folks are traceable, that they have their certifications, that they're registering with the borough, that they're paying their fair share of taxes, et cetera, and that they're not operating in an unsafe manner for both they as business operators and also folks as customers. So I will certainly have, I'd say I'm 3/4 of the way through it with a few other municipalities reviewing and having some conversations with similarly situated municipalities. So I will have a full text ordinance update for everyone prior to next month's caucus meeting, which will give us about a week or we can discuss at the meeting, and then it'll give us about a week to incorporate any changes before potentially advertising and hopefully repealing that 54-year-old ordinance that, while it was crafted decently, I don't think that it was really had this current situation in mind.
Well, that's the difference between protection and permission and a loophole. And we're trying to close the loopholes.
Additionally, I did receive a very comprehensive overview of the potential property maintenance updates from Code Official Collins. So I have my version, he sent me his, I'm gonna weave those together, and likewise you will have a copy of the proposed ordinance prior to next month's caucus meeting for potential advertising and consideration at the legislative meeting, which I think, and depending on the council's temperature for things, I believe that May 1st property maintenance code might be a nice round number to kickstart some of these new initiatives, and we'll provide some time for
further communicating to residents as to any updates or expectations that come as a result of those updated codes. Additionally, tis the season for tax assessment appeals. Naturally, the tax bills go out. Once in a while, folks are surprised by the numbers they're presented and are required to pay. So they look at their assessments and think, oh, maybe there's some wiggle room here. So I believe it was today that we
cut that off because it's smoking. Yeah. I don't know if you guys can smell it, but it was definitely. I can smell it. Yeah, I just cut it off. But it's still kind of.
Where were you going, Fire Marshal Bill?
Where were you going?
No.
That was the board.
Sorry for the interruption. No, right? So you just have to project.
Yes.
Right, so there's some tax assessment appeals coming in, trickling in, which is typical for this time of year. So we will work with all the taxing bodies, particularly the school district, to make sure that any proposals or any adjustments, whether we'd like to dispute those or whether we want to enter into some form of an agreement based on those, I assume, a combination of the tax assessment boards, determinations, and appraised amounts. So, and to keep in mind, I know in some other municipalities, maybe we could take a look at some of the tax rolls and just see whether there are any properties that are widely under-assessed. So that does happen as well. So municipalities have the option to pursue a reevaluation of their properties to make sure they get their fair share of tax revenue for someone who might have been overlooked for one reason or another. So keep those in mind. Lastly, there's been a recent uptick in discussions, if you'll remember, I don't want to say this time last year, but I think after the summer, there was, regarding the shared use of the Sharon Hill field between both the school district, the borough, some of the youth organizations. Now it sounds like Collindale Borough is having some interest in some of those things. So obviously it would require some coordination, and it's going to require some decent documentation to make sure that everything is above board. But moving forward with maintaining the best interest of the borough, given that it's borough property, and the borough has invested a lot of time and money and resources into it over the years. So I will keep everyone apprised of any developments there. I'm not sure how got involved. That was actually news to me until just recently. So, and or whether there's capacity and or availability for that many groups to share. Sure, and then so essentially the idea is to enter into this memorandum of understanding to set forth the individual roles and responsibilities and who handles what, how insurance is handled, how insurance is carried, and who's covered, and where those lines are drawn to make sure that everyone is committing their fair share.
So, what our solicitor is speaking on, the last point was the sharing of the field with Academy Park and the borough. So there, a long time ago, just like Teresa, there was like a handshake agreement of who's responsible for what. Like if they're playing on the field, they will upkeep the field, so forth and so on. But we never had anything in writing. And myself, Madam President, and our borough manager, we were in a meeting with Academy Park and their team last week. I don't know where Collindale came into play. It was just Collindale should not be in the play. This was just an agreement about our field and who's responsible for what. We told them that our field is not in a condition safe from a safety standpoint to be renting it out. And right now, the only people that are going to be on those fields and make sure that they're checked before and after games is the ramblers and the school. So, and then we asked them for their schedule because we never had a schedule. And what was happening was they would have a game on there. It was an incident that happened, and we were unaware of it, and somehow Sharon Hill Borough got implemented in that as
today, so we wanna prevent that from happening, moving forward. You know, the one thing that we did talk about towards the end was collaborating with them, our borough manager, grant writer, and their grant writer to come together to raise money to beautify that whole area back there. That was something that they were happy with doing, and the superintendent said he would, you know, put that together. But I think when Collindale came in, they were saying they have a bill that they share with Collindale or something like that. So, but we don't have anything to do that. We just wanted to make sure that our solicitor and their solicitor, and then we found out they're using the same firm. You know what I mean? So, it was like, you know, y'all would get together, write everything up, and just make sure that, you know, everybody have their certificate of liability and so forth and so on. But I don't know how they got involved.
But I know our firm has recused itself from the school district on this particular topic since we've been discussing this for many months now, and we were just recently retained. So that's why they have someone who deals with some type of a recreation council or something along those lines. We'll deal with.
For y'all would do contracting, right?
Yes, I'm saying I won't be negotiating.
Represent us. Okay.
I'll represent the borough.
Yeah.
The other representative from my firm who would typically represent the school district is recusing themselves from those conversations, so there's no conflict of interest.
Because they said that they were using y'all too, so, but thanks for the update.
Yeah, I just found that at about 5:36.
Okay.
I have a question, Kyle. So Collindale's interest, is it that they're interested in entering an MOU with the school district for the fields in Collindale? I mean, what interest would they have in Sharon Hill?
It's a great question. Like I said, I just got an email this afternoon. Obviously, everything's negotiable. If they have something to contribute, I can't imagine the council wouldn't be willing to at least hear this. But I'm not sure what what the value is to that, or whether they just want to have some sort of a general symbiotic organizational use of one another's fields. I truly don't know, so I don't want to speculate.
I will add to that that meeting that Councilor Hill put together with the school district, we did raise the possibility of the district partnering with us on the cost of the cameras that we want to put in those parks. And so the assistant superintendent did say that we would submit it for consideration. So if we can pull together the whole proposal to submit to them, I'm sure that will come from Joy, would you need to write that for us?
Sure.
Okay, yeah, if we could do that, just so we can submit it to them for consideration, to be a partner with us and absorb some of the costs of the cameras.
And this is in addition to the basketball. This would be for the channel, for the grass fields.
Yeah, the cameras over at basketball.
Okay.
So it is our court, but you know, our students and everyone uses it, and as a partner, we ask.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if you were talking about a second set of cameras for the field area. I mean, the ones that we've discussed in council approved.
Yeah.
Right. Sure. Absolutely.
But it would be two MOUs. One would be for field usage, the other one would be for camera.
Yep.
And I think that would be, I don't know, it would be an MOU or some kind of proposal for them to, like, whatever it wants to be talking about. You know, we have our grant that doesn't cover the whole thing until we have something they would be willing to share with us.
I only mentioned that in the event that they wanted access to the footage.
Understood.
It's something for consideration. We can discuss it at length. Okay. I'll let you know.
The cameras do order their property, right?
Yes, that's why we're interested in having them partner on costs with us. So just thinking down the rabbit hole of what all they might want as a part of that partnership, since they're going to be financing it in some way, shape, or form.
And how, you know, and I guess once you start writing that, we can have a conversation if there was some other things that they brought up that they want to see in the agreement. And I'm sure that our borough the manager wrote some of their notes down, so I just wanted to explain what Sharon did. Just bring that real quick.
Sounds good.
Any other questions for our solicitor? All right, thank you. So, councilors, I did not hear from Susan, Madam Manager, did you hear from Susan?
Yeah, she is under the weather. She did submit her report and it stands as submitted. If there are any questions, I'm more than welcome to take them back.
I did have a few questions. On her report. The higher, that's why we turned it up. They're off. Oh, you're right. Well, I can speak louder. Yeah, thanks for calling that. I will speak louder.
I don't know if they'd be happy about this. Just sitting there over there, because we so far behind the 8 ball with up-to-date mic amplification that there might be a move we need to go in there. Because don't even get it fixed. Don't even try it.
So
It's trash.
yeah, don't try to bring that in.
It looks like it was a short in the line. I had to take it apart and look at it, but I'm not doing that tonight.
The reason why I say that is I knew you were going to do the MacGyver move. We don't need you to examine. Just find the biggest container and dump it. I'll speak louder at the meeting.
The questions that I had on the engineer's report, and we can certainly get to her on it, but there is on her report that about the grant that was awarded to us from State Representative's office to be dedicated to these driveways. And we talked about this a while ago, and we were going to do assessments of the driveways, but we certainly did not receive enough to cover all of them. So I just needed an update as to where we were with the assessments again, because road work season is upon us. So if we get those assessments complete, we can adjust any of them this season, that would be great. So and I'm good on that. And I know the I&I project happened already. I didn't know if we were entitled to a report of the findings. You said I&I? That inflow and infiltration report, the one where they went in the sewers and put the smoke in it to see if there were cracks along the sewer line. I know that happened already, but I didn't hear anything about findings. I think it would be good for us to know what the infrastructure looks like. The benefit of that was that whatever they found, they were going to fix, so that was good.
I couldn't get any part of that.
Okay. That was you.
The downstairs was terrible.
Dang.
Like bad. Like, good luck. It's bad. Okay, so they have been, of course, Elmwood Avenue was one area they started looking at and started addressing. Chester Pike, very bad. Outside of our wall, there is a bunch of bad sections. Overall, our system is getting close to critical mass. Simple things, simple measures aren't going to cut it anymore, and we're getting close to the point where there's not much to be done. But for a good portion of our waterways, there's going to be a massive renovation happening all over Delaware County, but it's not due to happen within 2 to 3 years. I didn't want to mention it as a Darby Creek item because it hasn't been finalized. They haven't even had grant money to talk about. The project cost is somewhere around $50 to $100 million. But that doesn't cover a good deal of our section. Our sewage system is in the worst shape you can almost have it. Even with the lining, a good portion of that will fall on us. In general, this is going to be something we have to address, look to address now, as opposed to in 2 to 3 years when it becomes beyond catch-up.
So for the findings of that particular project, I think a part of the agreement was that they would be fixing those. So will they address the ones that they found? If that's still to happen?
Yeah, they actually already started. That actually started last year. It's just the other sections, other cases, which is basically the sewer system, which unfortunately falls on us. The waterways, I don't believe there is an additional one on Chester Pike. Actually, I left the paperwork coming up until this for a while. But the big renovation that's going to happen over the entire Darby Creek joint group of interceptors is not going to happen for another 2 years or a year and a half.
Is this for sewage?
This is your freshwater, rainwater, and your
Sewage included?
no, sewage is on us. Our sewer system, Sharon Hill owns it. So we are responsible for the maintenance and repair. I would say if you have a grant writing person who can do sewage, you need to take that your bestest friend in the world and give them high fives every day and show them the lunch.
This is from the Commonwealth financing for us. And the sewage facility program.
Council Father, can you just
It's a sewage facility program, and who may apply? Municipalities, councils of government, authorized organizations, institutions of higher education, watershed, organizations for profit business. And the application is May 31st deadline of this year. And the cost, the grant requested should not exceed $100,000.
That would be like one block.
Well, that's good. Just one block out the way.
Council, can you send that to Joy?
Okay.
Thank you, Council.
There's some more here, but people send me stuff.
No, take it.
I got a life.
It's beautiful to look at the borough from up top when we have all the beautiful trees and everything else. A lot of our problems are actually going to move around. So as we keep identifying things, it's just going to help.
So, thank you for that. One of the reasons I was asking about the findings that we had talked last year and even the year before about, do we need to look at selling our sewer system? Is that, or do you remember that conversation? We just wondered what it would mean for us as a community, like to sell the ground underneath us, but can we afford to fix? No, we can't afford to fix this failing infrastructure that just comes with boroughs that are old, the Commonwealth is old. So if we could get the findings and just start to what the mayor said, it seems like we're buying time and every place else in the county when it comes to our infrastructure, but if we can maybe start looking at what that means.
I will ask for the findings, and she did make a note on here about the driveway project, and it says a timeline of next spring. So what I can get clarity on is that this spring or is that 27 spring? So it should be this spring. Okay. I'll find out how soon we are to having that plan and being able to present.
Yeah, thank
Also,
you.
I have two questions about that particular project. I heard you talking about the assessment. Was there a way, I know I'm just joining in and this has been ongoing, was there a way for residents to submit their property as a possible place to be assessed? And what is the assessment process?
Those are,
Who will be selected?
I will take them back to Susan.
Okay.
So, as our engineer, Susan is responsible for going through the neighborhood and assessing from an engineer's lens, the conditions of all of the alleyways and driveways that need this repair. And then we would be looking at what we could cover and cost with what we've got. So she would then come back and tell them. Residents are welcome to share, give their address or give their block, but that's part of her scope of work to go through and do the assessment.
So she will provide us with a list of her recommendations and then we would make a final decision?
No. So she's going to identify. The objective is to avoid having you be a part of that decision and there be a conflict of interest. Right. So we put it in the engineer's hands and we allow her to identify the areas that are in most distress and whatever, metrics our engineers use to identify, then we'll go with those. It doesn't mean that when future funds come along, she won't be able to look at other areas, but it's not a voted on process.
So she's doing a global look across the
Correct.
entire, and she will submit to us, hey, here are the ones she believes should be used for this particular grant.
Correct.
Got it.
I have one question. Could we also find out about George Street? I keep asking, but I always hear driveways and alleys, but George Street is a street and it's horrific.
In your discussion, man, was you talking about baseline water quality at Boston? In your thoughts?
No, water quality, that's a different subject altogether. Water quality within Delaware County, I would say that there's worse.
Now, what I'm gonna do, I'm borough manager, I'm just saying with all the ones that were sent to me, that didn't expire.
And every grant that comes along, I send it to Susan. It's a matter of being able to manage all of them simultaneously and what our capacity is there. But send it and I will definitely pass it along and we'll try to apply for as many as we can.
Oh, and to go back over it, the interceptors and all the systems that connect here to all the places that water is actually cleaned, recycled, and purified, they're stabilized, but we know there's faults in it. Anytime there's a fault, it allows for any kind of debris, any kind of generic filth to get into the system. Because Garbage recognizes that there is faults, that's why they've done the revitalization of the system, to take care of the interceptors and take care of all piping to go into the station, so the pipes are clean. That's why there was a massive work on Elmwood Avenue, because that was one of the areas where the interceptor was bad. And there's going to be more areas that are being covered. It's just going to take time. But overall, as far as water maintenance, that's all being handled under standard code. I believe that there are some reports. If you want to, you can go to Home Depot and get a water check to see if the water is good. Because not all of that comes from the treatment. It might be coming from the treatment itself, which is our main water source. It may actually be coming from holes in your pipe from trees that have grown through it. And you're having a poor filtration system in your system. I don't know. Yeah, in Philadelphia. I mean, bless our brothers in Philly who got that system. That's it.
Since they're not that modern oil.
So, okay. Were there any other questions that we want to send back to the? And then Councilor, our building code official is excused this evening as he had a death in his family's funeral this evening. So if there were any questions, we could just send them to him outside of this meeting. And at this time, we can go to our code officer.
Good evening. Good evening, Madam President, councilors, manager, and residents. Okay, my report, basically the same from last week or 2 weeks ago. I just have a few points I want to touch on. So first I want to make note of this. I want to thank Green from the Highway Department. Drove me around this week because my vehicle was still out of commission, so I haven't been able to be that mobile. And then Ring, we took to the streets together. You know, I really don't want to take him from his job doing highway stuff, but we had to get out there. All right. So that being said, I want to also say it's an honor to introduce and submit the proclamation. Hope council found it and will approve it. So looking for that. Very excited about Building Safety Month. So it's a privilege to bring the knowledge of Building Safety Month to the citizens this year, next year, and many years after that. I just want to go on by saying we are pleased to recognize Building Safety Month throughout the month of May. We'll have daily flyers, handouts, information room materials, and will be available from May 1st to the 31st. Each week we'll feature a guest speaker, including possible appearances. Hopefully I can get an appearance from the police chief or fire chief to come and speak about, because we work hand in hand, codes department and the officials. Also we'll have stuff for the kids, coloring books, that kind of thing. Hopefully a raffle and that kind of stuff. All pending council's approval. So I'm excited about it. I hope that the community gets excited about it as well. So lastly, real quick, I just want to touch on some accomplishments that the code department did this month. This month, we completed and submitted requests for council approval. Our solicitor touching on a lot of points as far as revamping some of the codes. We and Cal been working together. So we're trying to do something with the abandoned vehicles. It's the time frame. The time frame, we'd like to change it. It takes 5 days to move a vehicle. I would like to have council approve that it can change to 48 to 72 hours. And we can place a sticker and get the vehicle. For an emergency, do it right away.
Thank you.
Also, ticket prices. Touched on ticket price. So when we issue a notice of violation, a ticket, it's slow. You pay, it's $25 ticket. We need to at least make it $50 or keep it in the range somewhere between $50 to $150. Those are the municipalities around us. That's what they're doing. So we need to change that. So that's been submitted to Kyle as well. Recommended the snow removal time stay the same. Submitted updates for use and occupancy permit, that those numbers be based on square footage. And also we've been working in collaboration with police chiefs to develop a new reporting system to address the vehicles. That concludes my report.
You okay, Gary?
Well, speaking of vehicles, I was going to bring that up about me having a work vehicle to find your way around the borough. And I think the one that you was using, this should have been junk years ago, but what can I say? But now, looking at it, it's not moving, it's not going, it's standing still. So you need something to move around and it don't need to impede upon no one else's duties or job responsibilities. So council, we got a lot to think of. I know we always got this debt, but sometimes good debt is a good thing. It shows your work, shows your movement. Bad debt, nah. Good debt, yes, because it's functional. We can use it.
Thank you, Councilman Elder. I do believe our borough manager has been looking into some options for us to consider so that the code official, the debt option, so that the code official can have a vehicle. So when she has got some information for us to consider, I'm sure she'll bring it forward.
And in the interim, the police department is graciously giving us a vehicle. So it's getting inspected not as we speak, but it went for inspection earlier today. So we're looking forward to getting it back today. It's a nice little truck.
Well, that may solve the problem.
Yeah, in the interim, we still, I like your train of thought. I love shiny new things. Good debt as always.
With the logo on the side.
With the logo on the side. These are valid points, and they're all been taken into consideration.
One thing I would say, and this is just a thought, because I totally get what he's saying, that if we have everything at $25 for the tickets and then making a reasonable range, and this is just my gut reaction, that maybe thinking about some sort of gradual process, given the tax increase this year, given a couple of the other ordinances that we brought up about folks having to cover like upfront costs that we would typically pay? And just really thinking whether we should be having some sort of strategic planning meeting about the finances so that we're not nickel and diming the residents, especially at a time when we just raised taxes on them and we have a lot of residents that are on fixed incomes, our disabled, our elderly. So it's just a thought, a gut reaction to thinking about that.
And the beauty of this is it's for code violations. So, we have that to our benefit as we discuss.
So can I say something? Well, this I'm really quick because it's addressed to Gary, but I wanted to say to the council too. So, resident reached out to me. They've been living in the borough for 33 years. They live along Chester Pike, and when I say the house is immaculate, the same gardeners and people who work on Dr. Strauss's properties work on their property. I mean, I just love walking past there like every day when I walk. When I take our 2-mile diabetes walk down Chester Pike. With that being said, it's 33 years. Your resident had mentioned about the violations and so forth and so on in Sharon Hill. And this resident felt like the violations were too low. They were out of date. And he went on to say that when someone gets that low type of violation, he's going to take it and just, they don't care how far it goes up to like 50 in their head because they know this is like $15, $25 into Dr. Fleming's point. Yes, we've been talking about this for a very long time, and we are aware of our community and our seniors in the community. And just like our borough manager said, these are for violations. So it's like, this 33-year resident, when they mentioned that, I was like, wow, like this is what we've been talking about, and this is what our new code enforcer is talking about. And even Charter Taggart, who I don't agree with, he mentioned it as well. And he said, you want to know why? And I'm not going to name why. He said, you know why these other places, when you walk down these streets and, it's looking like, yellow brick road, is because they have yellow brick road code enforcement fees. And the other thing they mentioned was about the garbage that's being put out and regular trash bags. They mentioned, and some people don't like hearing this back when it was this and that, well, at least people put their trash bags in trash cans, and, just what are we doing about that? Like, is cold riding around, and are they seeing it? Because it's visible. This 33-year-old resident walk through Sharon Hill, just like I walk through Sharon Hill, and he see the same thing. And then they were just saying, like, can we make, a promise of council to just keep Chester Pike, clean? That's the first thing people see when they drive through our borough. And I just told her about some of the stuff that's coming up, some of the things that we're doing. And they're watching. They always watch. And they did say, you know what? We did hear about that stuff, and I'm happy to hear that. But I just thought I'd just mention this to you. And I know you didn't do your report yet, but they also mentioned the flags. Bringing our flags back along Chester Pike. And, if we have them, I know Madam President did, when our old borough manager was here, Madam President said, just put them up. I don't know what happened. I don't know what's going on, but it was a directive to put them up. And, yes, and I think, that's just to show an appreciation, not only for our borough, but it also shows appreciation for us loving this country that we live in, and not to say you just bring that up like we don't care. So I don't want everybody to misunderstand it, but I agree. You know, I agree. It helps. It decorates the our line going down Chester Pike. So but yeah, I just thought I'd mention that, and they say that they are seeing some stuff that's being cleaned up and stuff like that. So you know, this person's been here for 33 years, and the other person has been here for 50 years, and they said some of the same things. So, and they also said the council, thank y'all for, because they look at the meetings and they want to thank us for some of the stuff that we are doing. They know stuff takes time, but they said if there are some stuff that shouldn't take so much time. You know, so I just feel like that.
Just a point of clarity, I think, talking about the codes, I think the point I was trying to make is having a more strategic approach to the different things that we're bringing up, because it does, you know, it's only been 3 months, but every month we're bringing up something that has finances that's related, and in the context of just having raised taxes for our residents, I do think that we may want to think in advance, you know, what is our strategic approach to finances for the overall year, so that it doesn't, because perception is reality, appear that we are nickel and diming our residents. So it wasn't about just that, it's about all the things that we're collectively bringing to the residents.
Thank you for that. So I have a couple of comments. I'll start with just that last point that both of these councilors made. I think that we should do our best to reimagine the narrative. The idea of increasing fines on violations is not a punitive act. I think it's a benefit to me as a taxpayer when everyone else is held accountable for the violations that they do. And I'll say, when my son leaves his car out front on street sweeper day and he gets a ticket, he walks right over to the department and he pays the ticket. That's not punitive to me as a taxpayer. If that ticket is higher, people will then maybe he'll do a better job and remember to move his car so that the front of my walk gets clean when the sweeper comes by. So I think of it as a benefit to the taxpayer, not a punitive act at all. I do think we need to make intentional efforts to catch up to every place else in the county when it comes to fines and violations. So for the upstanding citizen that does their best to not have code violations, we won't see an impact other than maybe those that just take the hit for the low price ticket. They stop, creating violations that make our neighborhood look bad. So I think it's time that we try to reimagine the narrative, and considering that any place else on the planet you go, I think in this room I've at least told the story twice about my $50 Starbucks cup of coffee when I parked in the no parking zone real quick in Springfield, and came back out 4 minutes later and had a ticket on my windshield. But I didn't do that again, and that's Springfield. But Sharon Hill, we like to be nice, so we don't want to, ticket the cars in the fire lane, and we don't want to impose fees for violations. That's not, in my opinion, a punitive act toward the taxpayer. And I think while we go forward and we continue to identify areas that we need to improve on, that we reimagine the narrative. And even Mayor Booker shared with me that even what our PD charges the district is lower than everybody else. Why? Just because we're nice in Sharon Hill? That doesn't help me as a taxpayer, right? So opportunity there for us to consider a lot of things as we continue to discover areas that we are behind on when it comes to enforcement and the costs that go along with it. So Gary, I had a few questions for you. What are the action items for us? You mentioned the abandoned car time frame going down.
Yes, so everything that I submitted are suggestions. Yeah. And I submitted to Kyle, and I believe they may or may not have to approve some of the things that I asked.
So how does that work? So if it is a matter of us voting to change or amend something, that we should be able to.
John, the amendment, the ordinance would have the enumerated amendments, repeal and replace the section that reads this with the section that reads this.
Okay.
So all those adjustments will show the prior version and the proposed new version for comparison purposes.
And when can we expect to roll, like, when would we be looking to roll that out? Because I don't want us to have too much of a gap between talking about the action and then by the time it goes into play, it's forgotten and then we're back to, feeling like we just started something new. So what's the fair time?
My suggestion was to have drafts circulated to council prior to caucus.
Okay.
For consideration for advertising.
Okay.
For voting at April legislative and an effective date of May 1.
Thank you. And then would that include the other piece of the conversation we've been having about the grass height?
Yes, that's the only sense thing I submitted to COP.
On the bus.
Okay, good, so we'll be looking out for those. Any other questions for Barry? Thank you, Barry.
You're welcome.
All right, Chief Sharon?
Thank you, good evening. Just a quick update, don't take much of your time. This month, the Sharon Police Department attended officer wellness training presented by a cable group, who the council is familiar with. We also attended use of force training that was put on by the Pennsylvania State Police Use of Force Division. The spring season is almost upon us, brings warm weather, longer days, and increased outdoor activity. I want to remind residents to stay vigilant, practice safety tips. Definitely be out walking more, kids on bikes, kids running around the streets. Please be aware of that. Also, as we know, springtime around here, we get some bad rainstorms, windstorms. We've experienced that spring, just be aware of that. Plan your travels and road traffic accordingly. Also, we've seen a slight increase after snowstorm actually of people still putting cones, chairs, you name it, boxes out to see their parking spots. This week, our officers began an initiative where they're going around. They are removing those items from the street as a safety hazard. We've taken a large amount of cones, again, chairs, boxes, you name it. We have it out back. They don't need anything. We have it all out there. So spread the word. We like the residents, remind residents, spread the word. You can't put items in the street, blocking parking spots. If the officers see it, they are removing those. That's all I have.
Chief, I did see that. So there was a few people at the end of my block, and then there was before you get on to the other side of the road.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of cars that were like they had houses and they were parked like. I couldn't catch the officer, but he did.
Yeah.
He handled it.
We've been
so I want to thank you for that.
Yep.
And I know one of the ladies, so you see Councilman, hey, look, man, look at me, but thanks for getting those chairs and cones and stuff from them, and I appreciate that.
No problem.
Chief, what was the first training that you said?
Officer wellness.
Officer wellness. Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Chief Sharon?
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. All right. I'm going to go back to you, Councilor Patrick.
Yes.
Hello, Sharon, District residents. I am the liaison for the Southeastern Delco School District. Today, I had attended one of their meetings at 6 o'clock. Excuse my tardiness. What I'm going to speak about tonight is the 2026-2027 general fund budget item that they're looking at. Nothing been finalized. Start with the 2026-2027 budget expenses challenge. We'll go to page 3. 2026 to 2027 budget expense challenges. Partially funded and unfunded mandated expenditures include charter school tuition, special education, PS, ERS retirement costs, transportation, special placement, and charter schools. Contractual obligations, which include salaries and benefits. The budget process, I learned, starts June 1st, previous year, which would be June 1st, 2026, and the final deadline would be, July 1st, 2027. 5, and then the final deadline for the budget to be submitted and approved will be the 30th of June. Next, for the Southeastern Delco School District, we have student enrollment for 2026 and 2027. Right now in district, they have 3799. That is 3,799 students in district. However, our challenges are against the charter schools. Right now, we have 719 students in charter schools. The combined totals are 4518. This is the part that I want the residents to listen to. Charter school budget amount for this year, $17,500,000. I repeat, charter school budget amount for this year is $17,500. $17,500,000 for charter schools. That's what's going out of our coffers. We gotta make sure that the residents understand embracing our school district opportunities for education is important. The charter school is not helpful. Total district staff of 771 people. Public school retirement, the funding rates for 2026 are 33.59%. Moving on, what we need to know for 2026-2027, what we need to know continues. School climate support, $620,000. Charter school tuition, $1,453,161. And then the CDEA contract teachers to be determined.
Thank you. Any questions for Councilor Patrick? All right, thank you.
Yes, what date is the school board meeting?
The next date is going to be 16th of April. They have a meeting, but it's just, no, correction. They have a meeting next Thursday, 7 o'clock.
They meet third and fourth
Third
Thursday.
and fourth, so on the third Thursday, 6 o'clock, which I attended. Then next Thursday after that, 7 o'clock. And it's at the Delco School District building.
We had switched our time to keep in conflict with theirs. And somehow we are in conflict on Thursday. It's just the one. It's the one Thursday.
Well, it's a process, and I learned quite a bit, and I was honored to be in that environment so I could learn the process. It's a lot going on.
Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Treasurer.
I'll read off the February 2025 Treasury Report for everyone for the general fund. Balance on hand as of January 31st, 2025 was $157,195.91. In the month of February, there was added deposit receipts of $395,967.31, bringing that balance before disbursement to $553,163.22. In the month of February, there were also total disbursements and withdrawals of $436,908.50, bringing the general fund balance as of February 28th. That's the incorrect date there, so it should be February 28th, 2026, of $116,254.72. Before I move forward into the, well, if there's not any questions there, I'll move forward into the vendor's business list. There, in our last meeting that I was here, there were a few things that we went through to things to clean up. I don't even know where I put it at. So I'm gonna just go off the top of my head up in somewhere. I did reach out to the Verizon account to close that, so that is in process of being closed down. Aqua, reach out to Aqua to close out the service for that account as well, so that's in the process of being closed down. Myself and Chief coordinated to speak on the T-Mobile and the AT&T mobile device accounts. All of the AT&T accounts are active and operational, so we won't be removing any of those. But the T-Mobile accounts, we will be removing, I want to say 16 of those accounts, keeping 2 of them. So there will be a savings there from removing those, probably about $350 to $400 a month. But removing those, and me and Chief will look to possibly move those 2 devices, long devices that's on T-Mobile accounts, to see if we can move those over to AT&T if it makes sense. So, really, those are the 4 things that action items that we had from that prior list. Also, just going at the vendors payables list, going at a few things that I have highlighted here on page 1. You'll see Arthur J. Gallagher. This is one of our insurance payments for this calendar year. That payment is just a partial payment, so we still have roughly about $27,000 of pay left on that workers' comp payment. We do have some other transactions or payments that will get that were paid for the insurances, but you'll see that on next month's payments list. Going into page 2 on the back page, I'm going to bring this up. I don't know if there was any additional discussion on the LED sign. So that Comcast, there's a Comcast payment there. I know we had a few conversations over the last few meetings, but I don't know if there's any update on if we should cut that off or not, just keep paying. And I know there's discussion on possibly repairing it or getting something new. Going to the bottom of page 2, there were a few things that was brought to my attention that I'll speak on for a few invoices, and this is one of them. E-Supreme Service is a cleaning company we have. I want to clean up the bot. There look like there's a few for the library that are not for the library. So at the bottom of page 2, there's 2 invoices that are paid that says October 2025 for the library. That bottom one is not for the library. It's actually for the police department. So that's October 2025. It should say police. That's invoice 28. Then on page 3, that very top one is not for the library. That was for the police department as well. So that should be November 2025 for the police department. And that's invoice 29. And that's for the cleaning service at East Supreme. In the middle of this page, page 3, is Hanley Fuel Oil. This is a fire company expense. They get fuel and oil from Hanley. I believe it's something in the service that they get with for their fire department. Not the department, sorry, the building. I believe. Further down on page 3 is just Jeffrey Jones. That's a vendor for the Shack for an event that we had. On page 4, towards the bottom, Quarles Petroleum Incorporated. That is the fuel for the borough. We have gas cars that the police, highway, code enforcement use to fuel the vehicles. To go around the borough, so that's our fuel charges. That's a monthly vendor as well, so you'll see that going forward. Got my note paper back here. And then that's all I have to speak on for the vendors. The total payments for that time frame was $133,048.95. In addition to my report, I provided you all with a very brief and consolidated, condensed summary view of the budget versus actual. In that first column, next to the categories, you'll see those are the actual numbers from January 1 through February 28th. One thing that I will make different moving forward is that I guess that middle column is I know that middle column number is the actual approved budget number for the calendar year, but what I'll do is I'll add a budget number for the year to date, so you'll see where we are up against from January to February, and moving forward next month will be January to March. And also I'll also be able to let you know the full year, so I'll have those variances there. I did notice one error on this paper. In my Excel spreadsheet, it looks like my formula was off. So that variance number in the far right is not accurate. What I'll do is I'll email you all the updated version with the proper formula that gives the real variance of where we are with the budget versus actual percentage base. I thought this was one of the ways that I could provide you all with an idea of where we were budget versus actual. This is a summary view of what we did for our budget presentations to come into this calendar year. So I kept that same format and just plugged the numbers in. And I didn't want to, not confuse, I won't say confused, but looking at the budgets and all of the line items, the general ledger items and numbers at times can be not pleasing. So I just wanted to provide a condensed version. So with that, I don't have anything else to provide. But of course, I'm ready for questions.
Yeah, anybody have any questions for the treasurer?
Who is William Ford?
Retiree. Police officer, retiree.
The minister. Randy Wine, SPCA.
You want to know what it is, or you?
No, I know.
I
wonder how big our book got to be. They don't need to be collecting money like this.
I mean, it fluctuates up and down, but I understand. And I know we've had many conversations about SPCA over the years. But I think
this isn't a bad
yeah.
This money here is not like, debt that we owe from months ago.
No. No, this was,
page one.
That was one invoice. That was from, that was one.
It's one invoice?
I'll pull up his firm, but that's one. And again, as I mentioned, that fluctuates. So I'm not sure what happened in that month, but I want to say like the previous month that we paid it might have been like $1,300. So it depends on the amount of again, I believe.
We gotta tighten this up, council. This you've been talking about it too long.
Everybody on board. Has to be everybody on board. The big issue isn't that we can do something, it's just that we need to make sure that everyone in Delaware County is in full agreement that this is wrong, this action that they're proposing, this unfair tax or inability to actually say who this person is not fair, it's not right, and we're all being held to this and done like well, we can't do anything about
I think this happens with the numbers that service everybody.
Yes.
So we had their whim for how they charge us. And their policies and procedures.
Yes.
If we're gonna have a stake in the game, what we paying for, I'm from the neighborhood. That's like being fooled.
It's a statewide problem.
We can't allow it.
Yeah. Statewide.
We're being played.
We are. And if our only plan is if we can get everybody on board to stand against the fact that we're all getting played. Because until we all stand up and say, nope, this ain't happening anymore, we all are held to this thing that the state has made that does not benefit all the boroughs and municipalities. Like we are all suffering, but we're suffering in silence by not actually forming together to stand against something that's wrong.
Well, the back door to that is in terms of where they collect. We have to be more proactive on how we deal with the resident. And just release it. And that's the carrot right there. That's something we can do, but in the meantime, we got to get all the boroughs together. And it's a task, but if they see dollars and cents going out the window, I think they're jump on board. Absolutely. Maybe we all need to get some kind of placement and staff it ourselves with people and everybody paying too.
Sorry, this is just from residents releasing pets?
Well,
Supposed residents.
it's not that.
I'm sorry.
It's the process.
I'm sorry. I believe Councilor Fleming had a question, and then we'll go to you, Councilor.
First of comment, thank you so much for the actuals versus budgeted. And I was sitting there trying to figure out the formula you used, because I kept saying, I can't figure this out based on, so thank you for that clarification, because I couldn't figure it out. I did have three questions around the budget. I know we've discussed several invoices from October to December, and I think I saw something from September also in this month. I want to better understand how these are being accounted for across fiscal years. Given that they were from last year, did we account for that somehow in last year's budget, or are these expenses we're paying from last year impacting 2026 budget?
It's impacting 2026 budget. I think the ones that, I don't know if I have a September here, I could be inaccurate. But I know the one, like East Supreme, I mean, those invoices came in late. Most of these invoices came in late that I'm looking at. That were from like November, so I've seen October, November. I just know that they came in late, so, but I would suggest that they're impacting the budget. As far as the county, we're now on a accrual base, so it's not really, we don't have those. We do try to account for things that's hitting in period 13, like we call it up to January, we try to account for that, but we really didn't anticipate some of these kind of move beyond that date, so, but to answer your question, yes.
Thank you. The second is.
And I just want to add one other clarification, just to that particular point. We did have some bills that came in January for the fire company, and we did affirm that those would not impact 2027 line items, to them that it would impact 2026. Even though we paid it in 27, they wouldn't have to see that come out of their 27 budget. No, we paid it in 27, but we wouldn't charge it to their 27. I'm sorry, we were in 26. Y'all, I forgive me. Yes, it was 25 bills, and we paid it in 26.
Correct.
And so we did affirm to them that those would be charged to their 2025 budget and not their 2026 budget. Even though we paid it in 26. I was attempting to clarify, I may have added more confusion to it, I apologize, but for line items in that budget goes, billing from the year prior, we would hold it, the department accountable for that as they try to budget their monies for this current fiscal year. I'm sorry, go ahead, Councilman.
Okay, number two I had was related to what you highlighted on page 1 of the report. I wanted to clarify the workers' compensation, and you said it was partial payment. Is that partial payment from one invoice, or have we?
That's from one invoice, yes.
That's from one invoice, so we're expecting more invoices. How are we structuring that payment? Because that's a large payment.
So we're working with the broker. In past years, we've had installments that we agreed upon, and we're paying over 4 installments throughout the entire year. For some reason, and I'm not fully aware of, this year, but an installment offering wasn't provided. So we are working with the broker, and they are working with the carriers to try to fix those types of things behind the scenes, because they understand, and most municipalities or businesses are really cash strapped at the top of the year to tax revenue start to come in. So that's why we get a partial payment, and in communication with our broker, a few other partial payments went out the other, like general liability insurances as well.
Okay. And then finally, I saw on page 5, we had 2 payments for safe corridors, and the first one you broke out that part of it was December and January. Is there a time frame for the second large payment to them?
Yes, we just coordinated a better understanding of their process and our process, so we can know how to, I guess, better coordinate the timeliness of when they get paid and when they'll submit their invoices to us. So I don't know, I hope that answers your question.
So it's the second one that we paid in, February. What month is that for?
For January.
Oh, it's, cause the first one says January.
Right. Are you saying this? Oh, the second one. Well, they both say the same thing. I'll look into it and see if, because we should get 2 invoices a month. Oh, and I'll say that. So I'll look into it and make sure that date that says December is not the incorrect date. But we should get we'll get 2 invoices a month because that's how they'll bill us based off their bi-weekly payroll. And we just confirmed that this week. So, but I'll follow up and let you know if that needs to be corrected as far as the detail of it, or if it was accurate based off of when we received it and paid.
Okay. Thank you.
Council Brown. Any other questions for the treasurer? Okay. And Madam Borough.
In the interest of time, my report stands as submitted. The only new information I want to remind the public of is the Falkirk Bridge removal. That is approaching. They're going to begin the construction on the 24th. Make sure I'm not lying. 24th, I believe it's the 24th of this month. Though there may be minimal noise impact to Sharon Hill Borough residents, we are asking for you to be flexible. There is a lengthy schedule which we will make available on our website for the time frame. They're going to be going until early fall, sometime in September, October possibly, so it could go into late fall. The schedule tentatively is for the evening hours, but there may be some daytime work they have to do in order to prepare for that work. Fortunately, it won't impact any of our trash collections or any other things here in the borough, so that's a plus for us, but progress sometimes is louder than we like. But it's progress nonetheless. So we just ask for your patience as that work begins to take place. Madam President, that's all for me in terms of updates for this evening.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify, the work that you were referencing, that's specific to the Falkirk Bridge, because I know that we will be sure that work, that contract will go on the line separate from the Falkirk Bridge, that's scheduled to start. Is it the two-third project?
There are 2 phases to the project, yes. The bridge is coming down, there's also gonna be some rail work, but they're gonna be happening around the same time, but the noise impact will still relatively be in the evenings. But it's a lengthy process, so we just ask you to bring your patience.
Thank you. Any questions for our borough manager?
Just the pipe and line, I think that's the corner of Focus line. Where's which street is that?
Brainerd. Yep, Brainerd.
From the from the snow and the storm and all that stuff, the line at the light, the striping, it's all eaten up, the cement and all that stuff. It's like it's bad, it's getting, and if we don't do it, then I don't know if you kick in with that, but to fix that,
Is it a crosswalk you're referring to?
Crosswalk.
Okay. Can you give me the intersection again, please?
Brainerd and Chester Pike.
Is it going across Chester Pike?
No.
Or
No, it's right on the block. Right at the corner, where the home care place is, where the home care place is, right in Stripe Road Cross. Right above that is two store got that, yeah. And they're on, I don't know. So Oak Avenue, Oak Way, I don't know
Boulevard or whatever it's called. Oak Avenue, thank you. There's a metal plate in the middle of the street. I don't know if it was sinking up at one, it's a bad pothole. So I think for the time being, there was a metal plate put over it. So I don't know if our engineer can look into that, because that can actually turn into a real, I mean, it's already a safety hazard, but we can have somebody look into it, the engineer, or whatever, and have they go back to us with us updated and how we could, get that rectified. And again, that's part of our street, so I don't know about what the fuse would kick in to fix that.
Do you have a specific 100 block?
No.
333.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions for our board manager?
Madam President, I have a question, but I want to clarify something before we move on. Just to answer, safe corridors, that question that you had, Councilman. That was accurate for December. What happened was, after I looked back, they had a missing check that was lost in the mail of some sort. We had to void it out and ended up getting processed then. And then I'll jump back to the councilman. That invoice for Brandy Wine, the reason it was that large because they had an annual fee included in that invoice, which spiked the price of that. That's all I had. Then you may continue. That's all I got.
And they will knock your door.
That was the annual fee?
All right, at this time, go ahead. Last thing, we are implementing a one-pager with all the flyers. If you haven't had a chance to grab one in the back, please do. It's just an efficient way for us to get a series of events out to you. And it's something new we're testing out. Let us know what you think of it. We're willing to make improvements. Oh, and the QR code for YouTube. We're still encouraging all residents to sign up for our YouTube. Now that we'll be getting a new soundboard, we'll be able to make sure that we plan to amp up the quality so that everyone can hear us on our streaming platforms.
Before we get to the end of the road, the president is doing senior rebate, correct?
It's $45, yes. The tax rebate is still $45, and tax collection times are still posted on the website in person. So if you haven't paid your taxes yet, we do encourage you to stop in when you can. And you'll be able to see our Madam Tax Collector who is here with us this evening, as well as Barnes County staff.
So to all the seniors, make sure you come to the borough and process your little fee, because it does help. And it's, she'll be here tomorrow, I think it's 11 to 3?
10 to 2.
11 to 2? 10 to 2?
10 to 2.
10 to 2, and I think next week is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
I believe so.
Same time, 10 to 2. And she told me she was bored. So we need to get over and put out the work to get our money.
Change that up your report. At this time, we will move to our public comment section of our meeting. I would like to remind the public that public comment is for 3 minutes. If you would ask your question, all of your questions, and then at the end, we will do our best to respond. So at this time, Mrs. Rumaker, good evening.
Take it easy. Good evening. Remaker, 335 Greenwood Road. I'm sorry, I'm late. All three of my questions were addressed, but I'm still going to ask them. On the 10th of November, 2025, a group of us met in Memorial Park for Veterans Day, and it was noted that day that the flag was in bad shape. Well, now the bottom red stripe is blowing on its own. It's not even connected to the flag. So 4 months later, it's still in bad shape. My second question was, when was last Saturday's walk advertised? Or was it just for, and I don't want to say select group, but I don't know how else to put it. Was there just like a certain thing, people that were invited to this walk? Because I never heard anything at all about it. And I don't sit on my phone all day to look at the website. The third thing was animal control. On the 1st of March, I had an unwanted sick raccoon at my front door. I couldn't get out my door because it was between me and my car. So I called 911 for a non-emergency. They came, they tried to nudge it with a rake. It wouldn't move, it just kept giving me dirty looks. Finally, I called animal control, $195. So I said, do you give senior or military discounts? He gave me $25 off. Why are we paying for dogs to be picked up? They said the only thing Sharon Hill supports is dogs for animal control. That wasn't my pet raccoon. And I couldn't get out of my house, or didn't want to get out of my house with it sitting between me and my car. But $170, that's a bit much when you hear what Sharon Hill's paying for animal control. This was not my animal. It was an unwanted. And that's it. Oh, I didn't put it on my little paper, but the speed bump at the top of Laurel, there's 4 sections. Section 3 is missing.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Weaver. Okay, I will, Madam Borough Manager, can you please confirm that the flag in the park will be replaced? Can we expect that it will be replaced before?
As long as we have a flag in-house, or we can get one locally, it'll be easy to replace.
Thank you. The peace walk that happened on last Saturday, we did share it here in the council meeting last week. It was posted all over the social media. However, it was an event hosted by the Sharon Hill Democratic Committee, so it's not on the Borough's Facebook page. Many of us are members of the Democratic Committee, and it was about peace and honoring veterans and supporting our community in the time of war. So we did share it in this room, and our mayor did decide and do the walk from here to the park. But it was shared on social media, and just not the borough platforms, because it was hosted by the local Democratic Committee. And to your question on animal control, yes, and yes. That is the process when we report like a rabid animal or some animals outside and we have them call, then the billing goes to the Sharon Hill, and then Sharon Hill gets billed for the animal. But if I have an animal on my property that I'm surrendering a call because it's, keeping me from getting into my car, then that's my fault.
I mean, I think there should be a difference between domesticated animals and things that are just walking up from the creek. I mean, I surely didn't invite it, and it wasn't my animal. None of my neighbors have pet raccoons.
Yeah. And this is something that, there's wildlife, and we can't do anything about that, but we can do our part to keep trash contained and debris away so that the animals are not drawn into our, residential areas. They're coming out looking for, food and stuff that's left around. So I know that you keep your property clear of trash. But if everybody did their part, maybe we could reduce seeing the wildlife come into our community more. And then with regard to the speed bump, we are aware of that missing section of the speed bump. There is a problem with the tag that goes in. We need to get that replaced so that we can repair it. Thank you. Thank you.
I know you're tired of hearing me talk about the flags.
No worries, we appreciate it. Thank you for being vigilant. Additional public comment, I can go in the order in which I see them or really. First we go to you.
Good evening, everyone. Sandra Hoffman, 115 Brandon Boulevard. First, I wanted to ask about the Ramblers. I'm helping, her name's Kelly Zimmerman, she's with the cheerleading, and she's waiting feedback and no one's getting back to her. So I sent something to Hakeem and he hasn't responded, so, you know, she's trying to get this cheerleading together and I'd just like to be able to give her something or a contact or who's handling it. So if you guys could get back to me on that. The second thing I had is so we're gonna renovate, but I was kind of wondering why the firehouse isn't included in that, since the building belongs to the borough. We're talking about the library, the police station, and this building, and it never even dawned on me that we never even mentioned the firehouse, so I guess now that I'm part of the firehouse, you know, seeing things there, so I was just wondering why they're not included in this renovation. What was my third? One there. Does anybody have my card?
No, of course I have it. Ramblers, cheerleading, but firehouse and police academy.
Yes, so I'm still waiting. You know, with a lot of things that are going on, I'd really like to, you know, I put in for the, you know, you're talking about flyers, if I can help with my street, you know, get people interested in.
Yeah.
And, yeah, as far as the police advisory board, I'm still interested in that. So trying to, you know, get involved in some things in the community. So, you know, if you guys could give me feedback on that, I'd appreciate it. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, Vice President Hill, that's it, as far as regarding the ramp.
Regarding the Ramblers, thank you, Sandra, I'm hoping for your question. So, unfortunately, we don't have, I guess, Hakeem with the Ramblers and the cheerleading. Nothing came back to me or no one sent an email. I know he normally handles, you know, everything that has to do with the Ramblers in terms of cheerleading. I guess the put together for each team, so forth and so on. But if you need my assistance to kind of find out from him, if you get me an email or whatever, I'm more than happy to do that.
Yeah, yes, I mean, if he gets in touch with Kelly, 'cause, you know, wants to know when the next Rambler meeting is, like, she's just trying to get some information, because she's put her packets together, whatever it is she's doing, but she's just sitting and waiting. And she wanted to get started by April.
Is she on the Rambler? She followed them on Facebook, but I know they just posted something about like
Their football, they're talking about football, yes.
She tried to like send them like that.
Actually, provide an answer or give that to her.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry
just,
about that.
yeah.
I'll just send an email.
Okay,
To him.
all right, thank you.
Cool.
Okay, and then to your question about the fire company house not being included in the new municipal center, so it is the newest structure. It is not in a state of repair. These buildings are, this building and PD are, and then the library, while it's not as old as this building and the police department structure, we do see the need to create a larger space for the community, community facing and renovated, better place for our young people and our seniors that use the library a lot. So, and that building does have significant repairs that we've been doing over the years, but that is the reason why the project were identified for the project as opposed to 4 buildings that are on the bottom. And
the Citizen Advisory Board, we do have your information as a citizen that wants to be a part of that. I know you've heard this for a while, that we can stand up that board now that we have gotten the resolution together, but you're still queued for the board.
Just keep reminding me.
Just keep saying we're going to be diligent about that and bring it back to us. All right. Other public comments?
Hi, Latasha Grayfield. Academy Park is having their parent prep night Tuesday, March 24th at 6:30 p.m. Our college and career counselor, Christina Ridley, sent out a request to all council and requested at least one representative from our council to come and speak with our parents about what our borough has to offer our students and our families. So the request went out to all boroughs in our school district, and we're still waiting on Sharon Hill to respond, to let us know if a council person is coming on next Tuesday, March 24th at 6:30 p.m. Also, we are still advertising the junior council applications. I extended the deadline to the 20th. I do believe I need to extend it a little further. So far, I do have one application, and I will give that to you, Mr. Council Patrick. I'll give that to you tonight. But I spoke to some other students, and some people are still working on the application. So I do believe I want to extend it out a little further, if that's okay with you. And also, just a reminder to the borough that asset protection estate planning workshop is scheduled. I did announce it last month, but I'll do it again. April 18th from 10 to 2 and 11 to 1. Asset protection estate planning workshop sponsored by Wealth Building Foundation, and that workshop is free and it will be held at our library.
Thank you. Additional public comments?
Hi, everybody. Tracy Turner, 200 Laurel Road. So I'm gonna read an email that I sent to all the council. Got no response from anybody. I am president. I came to you on February 17th, 2026 concerning an issue that was already in discussion with council and public knowledge. I came to you as a resident of the borough and asked you before we even started our conversation if we could speak on an issue that was very concerning to me. You responded if you had to take it further, you would not use my name unless it was something that warranted legal action. You agreed that you would never unless it was warranted legal issues, which it did not. You stated to me that you would be following up with the chief regarding the matter that we had discussed anyway, and that's how you were going to address it. You blatantly rushed to do the opposite. Tonight, it was brought to my attention that you had a discussion with the fire chief, and you also breached your promise of confidentiality to me. When we as residents have been told more than once to come to council with issues without threat of retaliation. As a resident, it is very concerning to me that you put myself and my family at risk. I feel this was a malicious act on your behalf because your opinion of me is well known all over Sharon. You set a bad precedent for this entire council and the possibility of further legal action if any harm is done to myself or my family due to your negligence. When a resident comes to any council member in confidence and asks to remain anonymous, we should be assured that will be respected. You did not do that. This is one of the main reasons people don't speak up, because they fear the unknown. You could not wait to run your mouth and had the nerve to put a big smile on your face at the last council meeting. I sure hoped you did not, but as a resident, you did, I guess, what you felt you had to do. So now I have to address the bigger issue, my family's safety. Your personal opinion of me overshadowed your duty as an elected official to handle this properly. I needed to let you know what you did will be known to the public, so they know do not come to you with anything in confidence. To the rest of council, please know, regardless of your personal opinions, I hope that you will take this as a learning lesson. We as residents should not be treated any certain way for a personal vendetta that you have had against me for years. You need to stop. It is so sad an elected official would jeopardize someone's safety. I think you had one up on me. Didn't work. I'm going to end this. All council, please don't put a resident in this position so where we're afraid to the people that we pay to come to you when something is going on. This is something that needed to be addressed. And like I said, not one of you's answered me. Nobody. Which you probably told them not to. That's okay. And you don't even have to respond to me on this. So my other issues are taxes. I'd like to know what is being done with the taxes that were raised because.
Mrs. Turner, your 3 minutes
Yeah, I'm not
are
done
up.
yet.
So your 3 minutes
The driveways.
Mrs. Turner.
Um,
Mrs. Turner, your 3 minutes are up.
The driveways,
The rest
what are
of
we
your
going to be
questions
doing
at
with the
another time.
driveways to enforce the driveways?
Chief Harry.
So what are you gonna do,
I'm
throw me out,
asking
Tanya?
this
Because
resident
guess what, I'm not
to-
cussing you or being disrespectful.
No,
So I
ma'am,
dare
just
you to have
asked
me thrown out, because that'll be the second lawsuit coming
Are
at
you
you.
still talking?
Okay?
Okay.
I am
just
talking,
asked you to
okay?
respect the rules.
Yeah,
This
I am
is-
respecting the rules.
No,
I
your
am
3
respecting
minutes
the
are
rules,
up.
and I'm being nice
You're
to you
still
only
talking.
because I have to be.
You
Okay?
don't have to be.
Yeah, no, yeah, I
Sure
do.
not.
Yeah, but you can't be trusted. Don't tell her
Okay.
nothing. Don't tell you nothing, because you can't keep your mouth shut for a personal vendetta. Okay? Go ahead. Yeah.
She's done.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm not leaving, but I'm done. You're a sneaky bitch, man. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, against the direction of our solicitor, I will address this matter. And I will say, I did not instruct counsel to not react or respond to the email, which, thank you for reading it in the manner in which you did, because the tone it was giving, and we all received was not the presentation that you just gave. I will say, first and foremost, my duty to this borough is the only duty that I have. As a resident and a citizen to my neighbors in this borough, I will carry that out. I am no one in this borough's therapist or attorney. So I will say that and I will tell you all, the problem with Mrs. Turner is Tanya Allen. Tanya Allen should not have responded to Mrs. Turner's request for a call when she reached out and asked me to call her, because I understand her disposition toward me. But because I do serve this borough, I responded. That was my fault. Mrs. Turner proceeded to say, can she tell me something in confidence? I said, pause, because I don't have a relationship with her that would make it make sense to want to share something in confidence with me. But I said, sure. However, if it requires an action or implicates the borough, I will have to act on it. She said, okay, as long as you don't use my name. She proceeded to tell me something that did not make sense for me to be told, because she's a part of the organization to which she was expressing a concern. And I said that. Why I bring this to me, you understand the limitations of our duties as council members as it pertains to this particular organization. However, she went on to say a matter that did have legal implications to it, and understood that it did. And I expressed that I have to react to that particular part of it, because the borough cannot afford to be in a space of any litigation or lawsuits on account of an official knowing and having awareness of a matter that is grave and not reacting to it. When we were ending our call, I said, so I'm going to call the chief, and this is what I'm going to say. And she said, okay, and we agreed I would not say her name. When I spoke to the chief, 2 days later, I proceeded to tell him I received a call about this matter, and these were the circumstances. And in his response, he said, so when Tracy said this, when Tracy did this, and I said, Chief, pause. Can we establish that you said her name? I did not. And he said, yes, we are aware that it's her because she already brought this matter to the organization. I never spoke her name.
I did what I said I was going to do. I told the man the issue because, again, we would be entirely culpable if there were a problem, and as an official, we had a witness, or I had a witness. So I did what I said I would do, and I established that with the chief, that I did not mention Mrs. Turner's name at all. He was aware already of who it was. Then the following evening, so later that night in the council meeting, there was another matter relating to the same personnel, and I said, I forgot to ask you about this part. And he addressed it, and I said, I do remember some details of that. I didn't need to ask because it was brought to me, and I said I would follow up on these matters. And that was that. And I did what I said I would do, and I'll repeat. My duties are to this borough. I'm going to do my best to protect the fiduciary interests of this borough and not watch us go down a path of any kind of legal destruction. And I am no one in this borough's therapist or lawyer. I'm not the one to call community if you have something to get off your chest, but you don't want it to be actions. There is a reason why a person who has never expressed any niceties toward me chose to call me about this particular issue that they claimed they had concerns about, because I'm the person that should handle it if it is a concern. Have to do to make sure we are protected. So that is where it was, and I do understand this. You run the tape.
Absolutely.
Play it.
I didn't say
Because
anything
what I
that you
said
didn't say.
is
What did I say that you didn't say?
But you have a different understanding.
Except that you told him who it was.
You have a different understanding.
No big deal.
And
No
I
big
did
deal.
not tell him
No big deal. I just, everybody
testimony.
knows not to tell you nothing, so you can't shut up.
Given
That's all.
that rant,
That's all.
I did call him, and he attested to me that he did say her name, and it was not me. So therefore, that is what we have. I will not be too many more of anybody's names other than Julia's daughter, Vince's daughter, Mark's
Whatever.
wife, and LJ's daughter.
Whatever.
I'm not gonna be too many
Whatever.
more.
Neither am I. Neither am I.
And I've never
Neither am I.
disrespected you. I told you
Neither am
about
I.
the name that you present
Neither am
yourself
I.
as.
Whatever.
Understood. Any other public comment?
I'm gonna be short. Plus, I got 3 minutes. So that makes it short. At the time. Bishop Threadgill, 1408 Melrose Avenue. I put on there fee increase consideration. And I guess with everything we're looking at and the time that we're living in, because I'm a community person and I represent the community, I wrote this: the haves, the partial haves, and the have not enough is what we need to consider during this time, especially where we're in now, where the gas went from $2.97 to $3.67 to now $3.99. And I'm just saying that because I have the money to be able to afford to pay the fees, if I have a violation, I have to consider someone down the block that may not be able to. And I love nice things, and I want my neighborhood nice, and I almost also, anybody that move in new, I tell them what to do. They can use what I'm using, but I help. So when we talk about increasing fees and taxes, we have to remember one thing as a council. Do we know our neighbor? Do we really know what bracket they're in? Do we know their struggle? Can they afford to do certain things as quick as I can? Because if I'm concerned about the community, as you all say you are, we deal with the fees to make sure everything is improved and looking nice, but we also have to remember our neighbor. And 10 inches to less, I have a problem with that to a certain degree because my money's flowing. But when my money's not flowing, that can be a problem because that grass and freeze can give me enough time to get the funds together to get it cut or cut it myself. The other thing is I put in, and I did put in the comments, was because of the hard times we're coming into now as a council enforcers, people may do certain things to kind of make more money with those individuals that may be out being a vendor to support what they're doing. But I put in a note, info section, to be able to help them to know how to do it the correct way. Maybe we could have something in our community to help those individuals who are trying to make ends meet for their homes to be able to do it the right way versus they're out there on the street doing the best thing they can do to be able to take care of that. Thank you.
Yeah, just as a small tidbit, if there is any individual who is looking for opportunities, feel free to email my Borough inbox. I have met a few people who are looking for individuals to facilitate different jobs. They are all within boroughs or businesses or city official jobs. Now, I don't have these jobs very often, but when they pop up, friends of mine who work at places, just email me and I'll see what I can do locally. If I can maybe put them in the right direction. You know, the best thing I can do is at least if I can put you in the right direction, that's the best thing I can get. Also, as far as maintenance of your property, please do not let pride get in the way of your safety and sanctity. There's people who want to help you, but you have to be honest enough to reach out if you are suffering, you are suffering. Because I can't help you if you don't talk to me. And as a community, we have to keep outreach and talking to each other to keep this thing flowing. So if you know somebody who needs that help, reach out. We'll start here, we'll move on.
I'd like to add, I wonder if there are things, I know Councilman Hill and I had a brief conversation because one of the residents actually recommended if we could use some of the young people to help some of the elders to get up the snow. I was a little nervous the last time because I saw some of my elderly neighbors. I broke 2 shovels trying to get the snow, and they just don't have the money to pay someone because they're on fixed income. And we talked about it, and I understand why we can't do it with some of the young people, but we're trying to brainstorm some ways to help those who need help. I think we'll have the same issue with grants for like our elderly and disabled, and trying to come up with some. If you have ideas, bring them to any one of us. But I know Councilman Hill and I talked about trying to figure out how we use work with our young people and help some of our residents who can't do some of the code enforcement stuff.
And I will say to that as well, until we are able to come up with something, let's help our neighbors. I have a list of seniors that I call every snowstorm, and I go out and shovel the snow, and they don't live on my street, and my son goes out and shovel. So in the meantime, while we're looking for some relief, if we could just all help our neighbors to alleviate those stresses for the people that live because if they can't do it, that would probably help as well. Thank you, Mr. Hill. Private Victor, you had a comment?
Yes. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I give honor to God. I'm grateful and appreciative for all of your initiative and desire and will. I met Joy earlier today, and I'm extremely openly impressed. And I thank Mr. Patrick the last time, and yourself, Tanya, and Mr. Gary. To make a long story short, it's about an initiative and a desire and a will. It was brought to my attention that Sharon Hill can be one of the best boroughs in Pennsylvania. I say that because I have a concern to help you all in any kind of way I can help you with. I would like to donate $1,000 for an initiative and a desire to have like a 3-tier, like first place, second place, third place, for the nicest house on the street or whatever, excluding my house. My other concern is trash, 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 trash with the homeowners and the owners that own their property that are renting out their property. There's an excess of a multitude of trash, just building up. There's a multitude of neighbors complaining, why do I have to keep up their trash, pick up their trash? Every other day, I'm picking up trash from other people's property. The leash has shedded over, since November. It's 4 months in. The leaves are still on their property, and there's excess amount of trash every day. And some of these homeowners, the trash is so ridiculous, in the front of their door, they throw the trash outside and expect the trash people to pick it up. That's a no-no. That's ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. So the closure to this is 800 Chester Pike, Cherokee. There's people that park their cars, they throw out trash every day, paper, soda bottles, you have it. They're having sex all the time. It's trash. But the bottom line is, with the trash that I mentioned earlier, it goes right down to the sewer and it clogs up. There's been 4 floods. I'm a recipient of a flood that was in my basement twice. I spent $13,000 to get a French drain done to avoid that. Personally, I've heard 7 complaints about the people's basement being flooded. I don't want that to happen. It's very unfair. You may ask what I do. I'm a prophetic prophet. I'm Dr. Prophet Victor Hunter. 854 Marshall Road. It's not about me, it's what it is that I have to offer. It's been over 100 supernatural miracles that I've done. Train, motivated, get black men off the street with drugs, guns, alcohol abuse towards women, how to go to college, how to study for an exam, help abuse towards women. I help mentor, I help the elderly. It's only so much that I can do. I ask that if you all can give these people a citation or warning, I don't want them to get a ticket, but if your trash is causing a hazard, it's hostile.